All right, welcome to The Explainer. Now, we've talked a lot about the brain of a PC, the CPU, and its creative muscle, the GPU. But today, we're focusing on its heart, the true unsung hero that literally determines the health and the lifespan of every single other component. We're talking about the power supply unit.
You know, this single sentence really is the key to this whole explainer. It just perfectly nails the PSU's dual role. It's not just some boring power brick, right? It's a full-on life support system. It's pumping life-giving energy, and it's processing that energy so the rest of the PC can actually use it.
I mean, we all get excited about the flashy, glamorous components. The CPUs, the GPUs, they get all the attention. But it's this forgotten hero, the humble power supply, that truly makes everything else possible.
So what does this hero actually do? Well, it really boils down to two absolutely critical missions: powering your system and protecting it.
Okay, first up, powering. The juice coming from your wall outlet is something called alternating current, or AC. And it's raw, it's high voltage, and it's completely unusable for the delicate electronics inside your PC. It would just fry them. So the PSU's first job is to take that raw power and convert it into stable, low-voltage direct current, DC. It serves up these precise voltages like 12 volts, 5 volts, and 3.3 volts to all the different parts that need them.
And this is where that whole digestive system idea really clicks into place. The PSU basically ingests that raw AC power from the wall. Then it converts it into nutrients, those specific, stable DC voltages. And finally, it distributes those nutrients through its cables, which are kind of like veins, to every single organ in your computer's body.
The second crucial job is protection. A good PSU is so much more than a power converter, it's a bodyguard. It literally stands guard between your very expensive machine and all the nasty stuff from the electrical grid. It shields your components from power surges and short circuits that could, and I mean this, destroy them in an instant.
Okay, so we're all on the same page. A good PSU is vital. But how do you actually choose one? It really comes down to two main things you got to look at: the total amount of power it can provide, that's the wattage, and how well it actually uses that power, its efficiency.
First, let's talk wattage. This is simply the maximum amount of power the unit can supply. And the needs here vary a lot depending on the PC. A basic office computer, you're probably fine with around 550 watts. But a beefy gaming PC? Yeah, you're going to want something closer to 750. And if you're running a high-end professional workstation, you're easily looking at 850 watts, maybe even more.
Now here's a pro tip, and this is seriously important. Always give yourself some headroom. Buying a bit more wattage than your system's bare bones minimum is one of the best investments you can make. Why? Because it means the unit isn't constantly screaming at its maximum limit. This lets it run cooler, way more efficiently, and it will absolutely extend its lifespan.
All right, the second key factor is efficiency. And the single most important sign of a PSU's quality is the 80+ certification. This tells you how efficiently it converts power from the wall into power your computer can use, with less being wasted as heat. Bronze is, okay, it's the minimum standard. Gold is really the sweet spot for most people, perfect for high-end gaming. And then you have titanium, which is just the absolute peak of performance for the most demanding machines out there.
But it's not just about wattage and efficiency. A true hero PSU has to fight the subtle, hidden dangers that can slowly kill your PC from the inside. Let's talk about ripple and instability.
So first, there's this thing called ripple. The DC power going to your components should be a perfectly flat, stable line. Ripple means there are tiny, unwanted fluctuations in that voltage. Think of it like impure blood flowing to the organs. Over time, these little impurities cause real, cumulative damage to sensitive parts like your motherboard and CPU. A quality PSU makes sure that ripple is practically non-existent.
Second is something called the power good signal. When you hit the power button, a good PSU doesn't just immediately slam your components with electricity. Nope. It does a quick internal safety check to make sure all its output voltages are stable and correct. Only then does it send an all-clear signal to the motherboard to start the boot process.
This simple check prevents your whole system from ever trying to start up on unstable, dangerous power.
And this right here is why skimping on a power supply is such a massive gamble. Features like low ripple and a proper power goods signal, these are the things that separate quality units from the cheap, no-name boxes. Ignoring them might save you a few bucks today, but it could very well cost you your entire system down the line.
The PSU is an incredible internal bodyguard, for sure, but it can't do anything about the one external threat that gets all of us, a complete power outage. For that, you need to call in an ally, and that ally is the UPS, or uninterruptible power supply. It's basically a big external battery for your PC. When the lights go out, the UPS instantly kicks in, giving you those precious minutes you need to save whatever you're working on and shut down safely. It's a lifesaver for preventing data loss or file corruption.
So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here. First, choose your wattage wisely. And remember, a little extra is always better. Second, that 80+ certification is your #1 sign of quality and efficiency. And finally, and this is the most important part, remember that a good PSU isn't an expense, it's an investment in protecting every single other part of your PC.
So we'll just leave you with this final thought. You've probably spent hundreds, maybe even thousands, on your PC's brain, its graphics power, its memory. After all that, isn't its heart worth investing in too? Thanks for joining us.